Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the start of B2. So B2, the first topic that we'll be discussing is static versus instance level in Java. So it's been mentioned a lot of times. Oh wait, my mouse is on the wrong profile. Okay, static versus instance level. So you've probably seen this word static, and also in the test they ask around, I think. Yeah. I don't see it here right now, but I saw this like when describing methods, they describe it either as instance method or class method. And this is a very important concept in programming. It's static or well, no, instance level or class. So I'll start with an example. Suppose you have this class cars, like you're at a dealership, right? You're creating a program for a dealership and you have a class car. Now, cars can have a lot of different attributes. For example, it could have a license plate. It can have a color. And well, I'll just add the other stuff first. Mm, yeah, that's it. That's it. Create a constructor and getters and setters. So now that you have a car class, you are at a dealership. What if there's two more fields about the dealership? One of them is a dealership name. So it could be private string. And it's always the same for all the cars. It's like it's always this name for all the cars, all the car objects, because you'll be creating a lot of objects. I'll show you an example later. So it's dealership name, and suppose you have a method as well. You create a method here, and all this method does is it prints the name of the dealership. So just remember this dot dealership name. So now you create a main class. And first you create like three cars. Car one is equal to new car. License plate can be color, can be both. So that's one car. So the second car. Okay, so now you have three cars, and you do car one dot print the name and car three dot print the name because I'm going to type all of them. What is this that? Hey, let me close WhatsApp because I keep confusing the notification sounds. Okay, so If I run this right now, you'll see that it prints the car 1 dealer name and car 3 as expected. But what's the problem with this is an instance level variable, the dealership name and also this method. So every so this is this variable, this is the method. And suppose you have the three variables, car 1, car 2, car 3. And all of them have their own copy of this. Even though it's the exact same, it's copied 3 times in memory, which is very inefficient because it's the exact same thing. You can notice that for every instance of the car class, this information is the same, yet it's being copied again and again and again. So wouldn't it be better if this information, instead of belonging to the objects, it belonged to the class? And that is exactly what static is. So here, instead of that, we can do private static string dealership name. And instead of this public void dealership name, we can create a new one, which can be public static. The static keyword means that it belongs to the class instead of the objects. So public static void and just print dealership name. And you'll notice one thing. Now this doesn't work. If I try using this, you'll see what happens. This dot dealership, you don't see dealership anywhere. And the reason you don't see dealership anywhere is because that variable now belongs to the class. And this keyword can only access instance level stuff. So if you try to do this, just brute force it, you try to do this dot dealership name. Car.this cannot be referenced from a static context because this is static. This method belongs to the class. It cannot access the objects. So in this case, what you do is either you do dealership name or you can do car.dealership name and it works. So you can see that car with a capital C is the class name and that is what owns this variable. Okay, so now I go to main and see now to call this method, I cannot use the car objects, car 1, car 2, car 3. See, it says it just doesn't exist at the method context. So the way you access this method now is the car class car dot print dealership name. Now check it out. Anand's friendly neighborhood car shop. So now this belongs to the car class, which means that all the instances of car, it's not copied for all the instances. And if you want to access it, you access the car class. So that means it only takes up the memory once. Now, an example of a very popular static method that you already know from the examples is integer.compare. This belongs to the integer class. And I know so far you've only done like int age. You've only done like the primitive int, but integers have a wrapper class called integer. So you can even do this integer age is equal to 5. So this method belongs to the integer class. It's a static method. Yeah, see here public static int compare. So yeah, that's what static and the other methods are called instant methods because for each instance of that class, there is a copy of that. So all of these are instance, this is instance. And yeah, that's basically the difference between instance and static. The reason I needed to explain this before is because this test contains nesting, which means there's a nested static class and you will need to know the benefit. Suppose we have a comparator, right? We'll nest a comparator here. Well, we can only have one public top level class. But yeah, I'll explain later in this lesson what top level classes are and what nested classes are. But for now, this class, like from the B1 lesson, you'll know how to implement a comparator. So I'm going to go fast with this. Compares two cars. And for now, just return the number plates. So it compares the license plate of O1 to O2 and just returns the result. But yeah, so now we have this comparator. I'll show you what static means. So now we need to use this comparator to compare cars. And again, we need all the car class instances to be able to be compared using that comparator. So we have that comparator. So think of the comparator as a simple machine. It takes two cars in, car one, car two, and it outputs the result. So we want to include only one because office is, if the comparator was an office appliance, say a printer, an office would just have one of these. They wouldn't have one comparator for every single job that needs to be done. So every class doesn't need its own instance of comparator. So we need a static comparator. So for that, we can go here. Well, I'll let it be there, just for an example. And we create private static uh, car comparator here. So I create a new instance of car comparator here. And that car comparator is just going to chill here in the car class. So right now I won't show you how to access it, just in case if somebody here is advanced, you know that you can access it using this car.car comparator. Hmm, I can't. Oh yeah, because it's private. Just make it public. If you make it public, then you can access car comparator. You can see that it's a comparator by doing this. So see, you can access it because it's static. You can access it through the car class. If you don't understand this, like syntax car.car comparator, don't worry. It's normal to be confused so far because you're saying like that's a car. How are we using a reference type? How are we getting a reference type from an actual class? And it's supposed to be confusing at first, but when it is supposed to be the third topic for today. Now, the second topic, which is arguably the most important right now, is enums. So, enums, I'll explain it. Enum stands for enumerated. It's used in a scenario where you have a set of possible values. Some two common examples are gender, where the possible values can be male, female, and not specified. So not specified. Or a more common example is days of the week. So, well, I don't want to type the whole thing. Sunday, Monday, and Saturday. So seven possible values. And the reason enum types The reason enum types are so widely used is because, like I said, you want to restrict the choices so that in your program, you don't want to have to program your application to deal with random values like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Suppose if there is a Hungarian user using it and they put in the value uh, Chutartak, I don't know how to pronounce it, maybe something like this, Chutartak, and it's gonna say no, it's not in the set of valid values. So that's the use of an enum type. I'll show you an example. The way you create an enum is just how you generate a class. You go here, new, Java class, and it gives you an example to make it an enum. And you go click on enum, and you can say days, and it creates public enum days. Now, if you're making it inside another class, you can just follow it. The syntax follows the same syntax as a class. So instead of here, you can do private enum. Suppose you only have select few colors that you allow for cars to have. So you can do public private enum color. Hmm. Okay. I think it's because it's already private by default. That's why the specified isn't allowed. If I try to do this as well, it's not allowed because it's not inside another class right now. But yeah, this is just how enums work. Enums and classes inside another class. So enum color. And how do you, what is the syntax of an enum? By the way, this here is why I failed HLPL2 last year because I forgot the syntax of enum. So, keep it in mind. So enum has possible values. For example, days has Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The naming convention for those values is all caps. So you go Sunday, comma, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And these are the values. That's it. That's your, well, the basic syntax at least. Now, how do you access the values of an enum? So, you notice how classes have static values, and you can access them by going class name dot uh, name. Enums are similar. These are static constants, and they belong to the enum. So, mm, suppose you want to print out one of the days. You go system out print line, and you want to print out Saturday. So you go days dot Saturday. And I know right now it doesn't make sense. You'd be thinking, why can't I just use something else? Enums are useful in uh, HTTP. I'll show you later how enums, each value, like this is just the identifier. They can have their exact values as well. So you can put their exact values in brackets like this. Oh yeah, Monday, Tuesday, and so on. But before I do that, I have to explain two more things in enums. So right now, print days, the Saturday. You can also create an instance of the enum. You can create day. Okay, right now I don't have a constructor. Actually, no, I do. So you can create day, my day, and then go, and it's not days, it's days. By the way, that's a mistake on my part. It's supposed to be enums they're supposed to be singular by naming convention. So it should be day.java, and the class name will be day. So day, my day is equal to, and now the values that you can store in this enum have to be from the set of possible values. So you cannot create a new day because you can't create a new day unless you're like Julius Caesar or something. So no, there was this guy named Augustus, and at the start, all the months they had their names made sense. There was like January, February, March, April, and they correlated to their names in Roman numerals. But then this guy named Augustus came into power, and he wanted to put his name August. So because of him, it's all messed up. But anyway, you can't create a new day unless you're that guy. So you can only choose from day dot, and you have options Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And just to show, I'll print out this as well. My day. Let's see. Here is an error. Oh yeah, here. It should print Saturday and Friday. So that's the absolute basic syntax of an enum type. Now there's two methods that you need to know according to the syllabus posted by the professor. You need to know dot value of, and you need to know dot values. Now dot value of is a way to convert a string value or any value really, but mostly it's used for string values to their corresponding enum type. So in this case, you can go the value of, let's say, you create a day variable and you want to store into it. Okay, so you have a string first, right? The user gives you the string or whatever, and you have a string, and you put it like Sunday, I guess. So you go day, my day is equal to, and you know how inheritance works, right? So these two methods belong to the parent class called enum. It goes like this, enum. They belong to the enum class and they are inherited through enum. So you don't even have to see, I'm not implementing that method, but I'm still going to have it here. So I go day dot value of, mm, and then I print that day. Mm. Okay, apparently it's case sensitive, so I have to do Sunday. It works. Now, I know it looks stupid because I gave it Sunday and it literally printed Sunday, but the reason it exists is to restrict the amount of possible values. What if they, instead of Sunday, they made a typo and they say Funday? Or maybe they really like Sundays. So now it's going to throw an error. Ideally, we would deal with that exception in our language, in our application, but still, see, no enum constant day dot Funday. So it restricts the inputs, and that's what we expect from an enum. So that's what value of does. By the way, this is not even needed. We can just go ahead and do like still gonna work. Yep. Anyway, the second thing that we have to deal with is values. So dot values is the method that belongs to days, and it returns an array of possible values. So you can try it right now. You can create an array. Okay. So you can create an array. I think it's a string array. Let me just experiment real quick. Create a string array. Uh, equal to day dot values. We can actually see from here what it returns. Public static day. So it returns an array of days. Okay. It causes a problem because it returns an array of day data types. And then we can just print the array day values. Okay, so the problem here is okay, instead of just printing out the whole array, let me just do a for each loop. So if you don't already know the syntax, it means for day, like this is the variable name. You can just do like the, it doesn't matter. So in the collection name day values, you just want to print it out. See, it prints out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You put one more thing. Hmm, I literally cannot think of anything else. I'm very uncreative. Okay, see, it's now in the list of possible values. So yeah, these are the two methods that are in enums. Let me think if I'm forgetting something. Well, there's methods in enums as well. So since I have some time, this meeting is going to end in 8 minutes. Then I'll have to start a new meeting after 10 minutes. So before the 10 minutes break, I'll give you an example. So remember when I said enums were kind of like classes? Oh, well, that means they can also have the other stuff that classes do. For example, fields, they can have methods, stuff like that. So here's an example. Well, they can also have constructors. So let's create a field first, a random field that an enum has. Let's say private. Hmm, just a second. Okay, so there's some limitations in enum values, like enums, fields, and methods. So let's start with their fields. So fields, enum fields are like you can make instance ones or static ones, but the enum constants are public, static, final by default. So now I'm just going to create, let me see what was used in the example code. Yeah, private final string name. So it's instance per instance. And you have a constructor, private city, string name, and you assign this name. You override it to string. And public static city, parse city, string name. Okay, parse city is something else. We'll do it later when solving the problems. But anyway, for this one, okay, let's create a field. Public, private string. I wonder if I can make public string a mood, I guess. Let's try that and create a constructor. Constructors is just going to be public day, and it's going to take a parameter string day mode. With this play mode, everybody play mode. So it's gonna throw up some errors instantly. First one, constructors cannot be public. In enums, constructors are always private. So you can just do private if you want it to be easier to read, but it says redundant because it's going to be private anyway. So, and here there's a problem. Each of these parameters now they expect something, some value to be given to the constructor that will be assigned to each constant. So normally what people do is they create like a day name. So here we can do day name. I know I can just replace using control D. Okay, and day name here, for each constant, you give it a value that the day name corresponds to. So, for example, Sunday, like how a normal person would write it if they're not screaming. So now it works. And if you create a new, like new value, you can go like day.Sunday. You can go, let me see if I can make a new day. Still no, right? Yeah, I cannot be instantiated. Let me try this. Hmm. Well, in the 10 minutes break, once this meeting ends and the next free meeting that I can start, I'll figure out the enum thing. So I'll see you guys in the next meeting in 10 minutes.